Knockout Champions League football is back at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal trail 1-0 after a late goal by Galeno out in Portugal, but a chance to put it right. And I'm here to look ahead to the starting 11 set in about 29 minutes. So we will, of course, be getting your thoughts and debating if Martinez not to start. It's looking like he won't. Who should come in? Let's welcome everyone. Let's welcome Mr. Lead Judges, Mr. Laurie Lyle, Robbie, and of course Julian as well. How are we all doing?
Good.
All excited? Nervous?
Excited, nervous.
Let's get percentages. Excited to nervous. Go.
I'm always 100% excited, and I'm about 25% nervous.
Well, I say can't do maths. Robbie?
Yeah, 100% excited. I am nervous. Probably about 30% nervous.
I'm 50-50. I'm just like I'm both. I can't wait to be there, and then I remember Olympiacos. I remember
different team now, though.
Yeah.
Everything's
Very
different.
True. Very true. Laurie?
Yeah, nervous anticipation, 60-40. I am a little nervy, I must admit.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited.
Yeah.
But I'm 55-60% nervous. And do you know what I always am? I was nervous before the Brentford game. And I'm nervous again tonight.
But is this what we want, Lee? It's
Yeah,
not exactly what we've surely none of us thought when we were, the Kroenke out protests and the demands for better and money to be spent. Surely none of us thought we were going to be in these situations, these nights, thinking we were going to breeze it. We wanted to be a part of them, and here we are.
This is what it's about. This is what we've been wanting. There are times we've been coming to the Emirates when there's been nothing really on the game, just apart from personal pride. So you haven't got that buzz that you've got tonight. This is a massive, massive game tonight. I don't care what anybody says. What's great about tonight, as far as I'm concerned, is that we all want Arsenal to win, but there's loads of fans out there that want us to lose.
But that's always the case.
That's always the case.
No, but in particular
tonight.
You know
They'd be
we
desperate for us to go out tonight. And that's like the same when we're watching other teams. So, but that's because we're back in the mix, James. Arsenal are now competing, and long may it continue.
But there's another layer to all this, right? Which is, yes, Champions League, last 16 we've ever been past it. Don't know about you guys. I'm low-key rattled by Porto at the moment. I didn't like their antics out there, going down on every corner and every possible situation, winning a game that, I'll be honest, we definitely deserved to win. I didn't feel they really deserved to win it either. And then you've got the celebration in the change room. They've got the manager saying, they came to play football, we came to win. And then you got Mikel Arteta, who was asked about that in the press conference, and he said, the words they're pretty clear. That there was no message to interpret. I think he said, it's pretty clear what they were saying. So that, I think, is all fueling this as well, Julian. The Emirates is going to have to be a cauldron tonight, and the players are going to have to play not just that they want a part to play in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, but that there's some personal pride on the line.
Yeah, but it's almost like their manager is proud of what they are. He actually came out in his press conference and said, we know what we are. Now, you can interpret that many ways. The way I interpreted that is they're coming not to play football, they're coming to frustrate, they're coming, you've called it the dark arts, I'll call it cheating. So, for me, probably, and I've said this before, is that the most important person on the pitch tonight will be the referee. And I've looked into the referee, and I've got good feelings about this referee. He's very.
Trossard's brother.
He does look like him, doesn't
He does look like Trossard,
yeah. Look, he's French, so he comes from one of the major leagues. He's been on the FIFA list for 14 years. He's refereed Champions League finals, 2022. Yeah. He's been at the last 2 World Cups. He's been at the last 2 championships.
I thought he was your mate. I mean, don't you hang out with him or anything? Bring him out for dinner.
But these facts have an effect, because if the referee was strong in the first game, that result wouldn't have happened. That was a terrible game of football because the referee allowed one of the teams to get away with making it a terrible game of football.
I respectfully disagree. If over 180 minutes of football against Porto, we are outscored by them, we don't deserve to go through. I'm not going to get the referee.
They played better than us in that game, because it's almost like we didn't know what to do. We didn't know whether to have a go or to just hold on for the draw, and we got suckered by them right at the end. But I don't know if it's cheating. They were smart. They were experienced. They used every little trick. They found out that they could get away with it. I agree with you. The referee was awful. I remember he booked Declan Rice after about 2 minutes, for a foul that he didn't need to book him for. And then every time they went down. I think it was how long was the ball even in play?
It was about 50. I think it was 52 minutes.
You know, so it was.
Brentford
It was.
beat that
It
with
was
49.
Yeah, it was an absolutely awful
did.
game to watch. But you know what? That game against Brentford on Saturday is a blessing in disguise.
Yep.
Because we didn't go there and blow them away. They did exactly what's going to happen tonight.
Exactly,
they came. They said, let's frustrate. They did what Porto did as well, which is they sort of did like a mid-block where they, you was talking about Julian at the game, where they pressed us, right? And we found a way to win that. That result wouldn't be enough tonight, by the way, 2-1. That means that we're going to penalties, which I don't want either, because remember we went out to Sporting on penalties. But I think that game, that showed us what we're going to be facing. We're going to be facing the same type of game tonight. But the difference is, I feel, is that this is at the Emirates. You know, we're going to have, the crowd's going to be, you know, this time reversed. It's going to be, everyone's going to be on Arsenal's side. And I think if we hold our nerve, I think we'll be all right tonight. I think we'll win the game. Porto don't really travel well to this country either. No. So, you know, I hope as well, like, and I think Arteta was smart there. Don't get drawn into the emotional mind games that, you know, all we need to do, we just need to go through. Then we can do our talking afterwards. But we just need to go through, you know what I mean? I wouldn't, if I was Arteta and those players, all right, you might have it in the back of your head that, you know, they're a bit arrogant, but at the end of the day, go and play your game, what we've been doing so far. Don't play on emotions. Because again, that's what they want. They're trying to be smart. They're trying to drag us into that sort of, you know, drag us into the trenches. Arsenal, go and play our game.
Yeah.
I think what you said there is largely true, apart from one thing you left out. They're a better team than Brentford. Since we
I
played
was going to say Burnley for a minute.
No, Robbie was making a comparison of the Brentford.
No, the reason why he's saying that because he
style-wise.
compared them to Burnley. But you know, they are. When we went over there, I said, listen, these teams, right?
They're a little bit more quality.
And they'll have these Brazilian players that maybe no one's heard of, but they're emerging stars. They always got good players, them Portuguese teams. So, and we can see that from the Portuguese players in the Premier League.
I think
they're going to be a top side.
Since we played them, they've played 4 times and they've won 3, drawn 1, including a 5-0 thrashing of Benfica.
Yeah.
They're a good team. They're 3rd in the league. So I am expecting them to be. One thing I was impressed with them is that you could see that they're a real scrappy, what I call a scrappy team. So I'm not expecting them to come here today and lay down. I think they will put up a resistance.
I thought they pressed us really well, all over the park.
They did.
Like Robbie said, they've got some guys there. They may not be household names, but you can see that they're good players. So I am looking forward to this game, funny enough. I do think it's a clash of styles. I'm going to take issue with what you said. I don't think it's cheating. I think it's a very different style to what we play and what we're used to. But they appear anyway to have been good at it.
You know what they remind me of?
You have to respect that.
You know what they remind me of? Atletico Madrid. The way they played, that's how Atletico would play.
They play on the edge.
If I can,
I don't say it's
if I can just
cheating.
answer that about it not being cheating. If someone goes into you and you throw yourself on the ground, that's simulation. That's cheating. That's against the rules.
Have you not seen Havertz do that on several occasions?
I'm not saying he wasn't cheating if that's what he did the other day, but if you throw yourself to the ground and you dive, that's in the rules of simulation, therefore it's cheating.
But the referee didn't do nothing about it.
Well, exactly.
So they were very smart to continue doing it.
Or the referee was very stupid not to see what was obvious to everyone else in the stadium.
And that's why I said, when I said they play on the edge.
Yeah, I don't think that's cheating. I think
that
goes on in football all the time.
Yeah.
Where I do think that they was, and where the referee should have picked it up, was when they're faking injuries and things like that. Like, you know,
Well, that was part of it.
Slowed it right down, didn't they?
Yeah, if you're getting fouled, you can go down. If
They
he touches you, you can go down.
They weren't getting fouled. There was a
There was a
corner.
few
There was a corner that went
touch.
in, and I think their goalkeeper clipped their own player, and their own player threw himself on the ground. Then the goalkeeper threw himself on the ground, and the referee gave a foul. It was.
But listen, Julian,
there was occasions like that.
Yeah, but they were being smart.
But you know what, Julian,
referee.
if we're going to go far in this competition, you can bet your life they're not going to be the only team we come up against that does this.
And I understand
so we've got to learn to play against
But I also
teams like
expect from a premium competition, with the money that's involved in the Champions League, you expect a higher degree of aptitude from the officials, which I'm pretty certain we're going to get.
You can say that about the Premier League, Julian. It's the same thing, like, you know. Listen, I'm always at the thing is, like, if you said, right, to every team, Porto, for instance, right? You're not allowed to do all of those sort of things. You've got to come out and play football against Arsenal, and it be just a football against football. Then Arsenal are going to win every time. These teams have to do that. Brentford, for instance, have not done that all season, but they felt that they had to do that to get a result against us. I think it's a compliment, and we've got to be able to.
We've got to find a way.
Find a way, exactly that.
And I understand that. I just think the referee should have the skills to be able to detect what is obvious to everyone else.
I'm going to say, I thought the referee on Saturday done that very well.
Fair enough. Let's move it on, because we've got an 11 that we're going to find out about in 90 minutes time or so. Martinelli unlikely to play. We've had some good debates via the preview, via Forever Arsenal as well, in terms of who should be stepping into that role. I think before we answer it, I want to know what people thought of Trossard against Brentford, because I'm one of Trossard's biggest fans. I've always wanted him in this team in some way. But out on the left, it doesn't seem like it comes naturally to him, because Martinelli and Saka play out on the wings with such raw pace. He doesn't really have that. What are we thinking? Well, what do we think of his Brentford performance?
He laid an egg on Saturday.
Poor, and I'll tell you why. Because when he's played up front, when he's played as the false nine, he's played really well. But the false nine is now Havertz. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's gone out there, and I'm afraid he got. And it's harsh on him. He got wanting with his pace for the throw from Ramsdale, and I just think that listen, he can do a job out there. I'm not saying that he can't, but I think his best performances have been in that false nine. Yeah. And a little bit harshly left out of it. But when you look at what Havertz has done, you can't argue with it. Like for me today, Jesus is the most. Well, two players are more like him, like Jesus. And if you're going to go for somebody else, then you go with Nelson. Because Nelson, when he come on Saturday, done a very, very good job there. That same sort of thing that Martinelli does by stretching teams with his pace. So if you're going to go like for like, you'd probably go Nelson. But for me, experience, Champions League, I remember the game against Seville in the group stages. He's nailed on to start a day, I'm sure, because he's Champions League experience and has turned up on most times for us in the Champions League this season.
Fair enough. Well, let's get a poll going actually. Who wants to, who do you want to see starting that left wing position? Of course, with Martinelli likely out, Reece Nelson, Gabriel Jesus or Leandro Trossard, who did take that side of the pitch against Brentford. Robbie, what would you do?
No, I'm with Lee. Jesus has been excellent for us in the Champions League. He's got that trickery, that can unlock tight defences. And he didn't play in Porto, did he? No. And I think we missed him that night, because they sat very deep and we found it really, really difficult, and they're going to sit very deep again tonight. So I think somebody like Jesus, he wins a lot of fouls, you don't know where he's going, is he going left or right? He's such a good player. I think he's absolutely, I think, like you said, if he's fit tonight, I think he's nailed on. I actually feel that Arteta's been holding him back for this Champions League game.
Maybe.
I really do, because if you notice, even like he's been very sparingly bringing him off the bench. He bought him probably, I reckon if we'd have been leading that game by more at the weekend, he wouldn't have come on as early, So, yeah, definitely, and he looked sharp when he came on as well. Yeah. So, definitely Jesus.
Yeah, I disagreed with you about Trossard. I thought he tailed off in the second half. I thought it was pretty decent in the first half, but I'd absolutely agree with starting Jesus in this game. You look at, you sort of alluded to it, his record in the Champions League this season has been phenomenal. He's played 5 games. He hasn't even played the whole games. I think he's got 323 minutes in those 5 games. He's got 4 goals and 2 assists. It's just fantastic.
He's notebook out again, isn't he?
But it's really interesting when you look at those stats, because he's only played 2/3 of those 5 games, and the stats that he's put on is remarkable. 4 goals and 2 assists.
Even when he was at City, he was always good.
And the other thing about it is, with the style of play, what you want is the maximum intensity, and that's one thing you can always guarantee from Jesus.
Yeah. Do you know what my hesitation is? Without overthinking it, because, if I'm making the decision, if I somehow find myself in Mikel Arteta's shoes, I'm going for Jesus because it feels the right option. But it's not just about whether you got the trickery and the skill and the pace which Jesus has. It's also like a want to run in behind. And that's the one thing about Jesus. He always wants to come short and combine and play. he'll almost have to be under strict instructions, like, you got to do for this team what Martinelli does. And whenever you whip up, we do it on Tactical Insight, which I'm sure you watch all the time.
Oh, I love it.
I know you love it. I was sitting in bed watching it, always, awake throughout.
Got it on my notifications, like beep, beep, beep.
And Graham reminds you.
Yeah, and Graham, yeah.
But when we...
Apparently 150 times now, like, so there's 150 shows you were telling me the other day.
Is that right? Oh,
Yeah, you should know.
You got 150 unread messages.
Yeah, I have, like, I mean, from Graham now, like,
When you look at average position maps, Martinelli's always the highest. Like, he's always just naturally the furthest up the pitch. His job is to stretch the game. So, can Jesus do that? And if not, I'm tempted by Reece Nelson. I'm tempted by a player who, the thing is, we haven't seen him at this level. We haven't even seen him like in and out as a regular player in the Premier League. But just because of his raw pace, his willingness to take on the fullback.
No, not for me.
No? I haven't convinced anyone.
Not in a game like this. And then Jesus is more of a goals threat. And
if Jesus,
I don't think you're going to be
100% fit. Then
they're going to be.
You can't overlook.
Yeah, they're going to be
Jesus.
sitting deep as well. I don't even know if there's going to be a load of space in behind. They're going to be deep. You saw them at home, how deep they were. Well, they ain't going to come to the Emirates and play no high line.
I just think there's a good argument for Reece.
If they're going to play
I see
that
where you're
deep,
coming from, because if you're looking at it as a like for like, in terms of pace and explosivity, then he most likely meets that criteria.
You know what though, Jesus, even the fact that he does drift, might be a good thing.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just referring to James's point.
But I'm saying,
if you're looking for a like-for-like replacement,
I hear that.
What does Gabriel Martinelli do? Who else can replicate that? Then I agree with James.
Jesus running, get him drifting, running up against Pepe and that. He had an easy night that night. Get him running up there with his little tricks and body swerves and stuff like that. He'll win a lot of free kicks and stuff like that, or he'll get past him. It's got to be Jesus.
Yeah, I would go Jesus, but listen, why not have both of them on, especially if things are not going our way?
Well, that's another thing that you can do.
When I say both of them, I mean...
Do you take out Havertz then?
No, when I say both of them, I mean if things are getting sticky later on.
You could take off Jorginho
off and bring...
That's the other thing, you can go midfield, you can get them all in.
That's the thing. So there are a few other positions to talk about. Now, Rice started as the defensive midfielder, number 6 out in Porto. I think we lacked a little bit of control. I really liked him playing in a more free roam role, like Granit Xhaka did last season with Jorginho in the team. And I think sometimes people see that as like negative having both. But I think the ability to unlock Rice is a great thing in itself.
And another goal option.
Well, exactly. So what are we doing there? And I'm going to combine this conversation with the left-back conversation, because if you're talking about breaking down deep blocks, Zinchenko's available, but Kivior doesn't deserve to lose his spot. So, Julian, take away. What are you doing with the rest of the team?
I'll have Zinchenko.
Would you? From the start?
From the start.
Harsh from Kivior, no?
So would I.
It's a professional game. I mean, Kivior has been decent. He's a decent defender, but he just doesn't have the level of creativity that Zinchenko has. And as Robbie says, if they play the way that we know they're going to play, you need that expertise that only Zinchenko has in the team compared with Kivior. So you've got to put him in.
What about Jorginho? So would you stick with Jorginho?
I'd have Jorginho.
Partey available?
I'd have Jorginho for the levels that he's at the moment. It's quite incredible. I mean, you look at Rice, but quite often Jorginho has far more of the ball than Rice does, and it also frees him up. And what you're seeing from Rice is something that you never saw at West Ham, because he just didn't have those options. He didn't have the quality around him that he does at Arsenal.
Robbie?
No, definitely Jorginho. He should have played in the last game. Remember, we was over there. Remember before the game, the day before, we were doing the preview, and we were all saying Jorginho, and we was quite shocked that he didn't start that game. And definitely, I think I would put Zinchenko in, because we're going to have a lot of the ball. So you get that extra body in midfield with Zinchenko, drifting in there. Yeah, definitely. Those would be the changes I'd make. Zinchenko, Jorginho stays in. And definitely Jesus for me.
If Martinelli was fit, I wouldn't have played Jorginho tonight. I'd have played Martinelli and Jesus, and then played Havertz as a one to try and break him down. But as Martinelli's not playing, I think Jorginho's got to go, because that Declan Rice gives us that option. For me, I'm going to stick with Kivior for the first half or whatever, because I think that we've broken down teams. With him in the team, but I felt that we was crying out for Zinchenko on Saturday. he come on and he did make a bit of a difference. So I'd keep it tight for the first 20 minutes, but like stay patient, see if we can break them down, because we have broken down better teams than Porto.
We need 2 goals though.
Well, we've got 3 against. We've got 3 against Liverpool. We've got 4 against Newcastle.
No. But I'm saying, when you're saying about keep it tight, it's obviously we've got to keep it tight, but we need goals.
Yeah, but
we need early goals to get them a bit rattled.
We've got early goals with Kivior in the team. That's my only.
I have to say, I'm with you, and it goes back to the conversation we had on Forever Arsenal. I love your thoughts on this, Laurie. Like, Zinchenko on the ball, all that, 100%. He's a more creative outlet than Kivior, and you can have White doing what he normally does, and that can work, no doubt. But I sometimes think, like, if we were to go and just go, right, Zinchenko, you're in, I don't know if that reeks a little bit of desperation, a little bit of like, chuck him straight in. He's only played sort of 10, 15 minutes, and when things have been going right with Kivior, the thing I like about Kivior, David Raya's the same. Havertz, you could argue sometimes in that false 9 position over Jesus, though I think Jesus is a better player. They're all, again, we talked about it forever, they're quite cold, they're quite calm, and I like that. I actually think Arsenal's best chance of going through tonight is just, like the title of the preview said, play the game, not the occasion. And the fans, and we're going to be there, the 4 of us, be loud and make it cauldron, be up for it. But if the players just keep their heads, they'll do it, absolutely. But if they get to sort of, second half and they start panicking a little bit, then it becomes a bit of an awkward night, in my opinion. I don't know, I feel like Kivior embodies that a little bit better than Zinchenko, personally.
I hear that, but respectfully, I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go with those 2 guys. I think that given Zinchenko's level of experience, which is key in a games like this, and the fact that we are expected to have a lot more of the ball, creativity is going to be a premium tonight. As I said before, I expect these guys to be resilient. They're going to need to be broken down. So I would give the edge to Zinchenko. But if he does go the other way and it is Kivior, then I wouldn't be too upset.
Fair enough. And for the first time in a while, we're going to have some really good options from the bench, even if Martinelli's not available, because now you're looking at Smith Rowe, Vieira, Partey, and Zinchenko. Again, we mentioned in the preview, when City were 2-0 down on the final day of the season, Pep turned to Zinchenko at left back and he pretty much ran the game from there to winning the title. So you've got players you can bring on, Robbie, and whoever he goes with, those bench players need to be ready in case we need them either to hold on to what we've managed to turn around or to get us over the line.
Yep, the best case scenario is in the second half he's bringing on defenders. That means we're winning. Yeah. Right, you know what I mean? But we need to score.
If we have any left.
If we've got any left. But we need to score goals. We've got to score goals. We, got to win by 2 clear goals, really.
Do you think it's important that we score early?
No. Yeah, I do.
It's not overwhelming though. We should.
I think
it's going to have to score twice anyway.
An early goal settles the nerves.
Everything.
You don't score early, even if you score late. What if they score? Then you're back. So you get that early goal. You've got something to build on for the rest of the game. Makes them a bit nervous. All of a sudden, that game's level now. It's like 0-0.
I think if we do score early, it's going to be an easy night. We go on to win 3-4, 5-0.
Easy.
I think
5-0.
I think if we score early,
you really don't rate them, do you?
No.
I can see you really. And I can see you don't like them either.
No, it's not that I don't like them. I don't know them.
Well, you called them cheats earlier.
Well, all right, they're cheats.
And now we charged him on his bar bill. We weren't happy about that.
I'll tell you what I would say. Right, I'll tell you what I would say is that it's going to be quite a cute tactical battle tonight. Because I've got to admit, we've got to be honest and say that their manager got the better of Arteta in the first leg.
And that is who I do rate. So I rate their manager in as much as he hasn't got the same deck of cards that Arteta's got. And with all his tactics, I'll call it cheating, you can call it the dark arts, but they came away with a 1-0 win.
Yeah.
And that I do have ultimate respect for. Yeah. But I think the quality of the 2 teams, it's nowhere close. It's nowhere close. We should go on.
I was watching that game the other day, Bayern, and they lost their first game 1-0. But once they got that goal, they got that fairly early. That was it. It was like
it did take them a little while. I think 38.
It did take them a while. But then after that, there was. So if we can get that early goal, because all of a sudden you could see with the Lazio players when Bayern was playing, once they got that goal, they realised that now all of a sudden it's level and we're away from home.
But the thing is, if we do get an early goal, right? I mean, obviously we don't know until the game if it pans out that way. But I would imagine that Porto will not change their style of play.
No, they won't.
No, but if we get,
Because
but then if
we
we
need
get
to
a
score
second,
twice anyway. So
We get a second goal, they've got to come out.
yeah,
So,
if we get the second, but if they get an early goal, they're not just going to say, right, okay, we need to get that back.
Well, however we get it done, we just want to be in that draw. Is it Friday? The draw?
Friday's a draw, yeah.
Wouldn't it be amazing? Because especially the way it's panning out, it's looking like you're going to have just 8 brilliant quarter-finalists from Bayern to PSG. Barcelona need to find a way tonight past Napoli, Man City.
Won't be interested in one iota if we're not in it.
if we're not.
I won't care one bit. But
That's our big.
do you know, I've been watching the Champions League the last 7 years going, like, what a great competition. Like, why are we never... And it goes back even 14 years, because we haven't even made it to a point at which it actually starts to get genuinely exciting. So if we can do it, it'd be massive.
The other thing I was going to say just quickly as well is that the pressure is mostly on us tonight, without a doubt.
Agreed.
We're at home, we're expected to win. If we don't go through tonight, it's going to be seen as a huge failure.
Massive. I don't think really people realise, I've said this on the forever, how important this game is. I think this is, if we lose today, I don't think we win the league. I think that's how serious this game is.
It could go the other way.
No, because I'll tell you why. Because we've stumbled to the Etihad last season. This time, if we win tonight, we go there with full of confidence.
It's interesting because some people have said that if we do go out, the one benefit they could see, not me, some people have said that we would focus all.
No.
Didn't happen last year.
But the difference is we're not stumbling. You've said we're stumbling if we lose that game.
No, I didn't. So then you're looking for an argument. I said last season. Always looking to argue.
Talking about stumbling.
Always looking to argue.
Start talking about stumbling.
Last season we stumbled to the end. Every game, like draw. But this season, if we win tomorrow, if we win tonight,
no, but if we
bounce.
Yeah, but if we lose tonight, we still haven't stumbled.
No, but what I'm saying is you've got like 3 weeks, Julian, where things have not.
It's like likening last season.
So
we're not stumbling. Even if we lose tonight, we're not stumbling. We've won 8 in a row.
I never said we was stumbling.
But you associated last season
we
stumbling with this season if we lose.
And we've got to. I feel if we win tonight, this is my personal opinion, and basically I don't care about yours, right? Simple as that. If we win tonight, right, I think we've got all the confidence going into that game. And that's what we want. I don't want us going up there with, well, we've lost our last game. 3 weeks we're going to have to sit on this, by the way. 19 days. You know what I mean?
Listen, I totally agree. Let's go through super chats. Lee Burnell is bigging up Robbie and all of us as always. Alex Smith says 3-0 and I'm here today, block 1, 2, 3. Alex, I hope you're right and enjoy the game. Mr. Craig says real test for us, time to show what we're about. Absolutely. The football world is watching, trust me. Everyone is waiting to see, have Arsenal got the minerals to get it done? Apparently the team is out already, which would be a minute or two. Okay, apparently it is. So according to journalists who are there...
Ramsdale in goal?
No. Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior, Jorginho, Ødegaard, Rice, Saka, Havertz and Trossard gets into the 11. So no changes from the team that beat Brentford.
Well, me and you got 10 out of 11.
Yeah.
Well, did you get the Ramsdale one?
Yeah. No, I knew Ramsdale one.
Listen, that team should be good enough to get the job done anyway.
But is this playing on Robbie's theory of the low block? Maybe Trossard is going to be.
In my opinion, then, I don't think Jesus is 100% fit.
He can't be 100% fit then, because if he's 100% fit, surely he has to start.
But we ain't got a game for 3 weeks, neither.
Yeah. So, what's the bench?
It's only the 11 that's made its way out now, waiting for Arsenal to confirm
I'm a little bit
the bench as well.
Disappointed that he's not playing, if I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm disappointed, but Trossard's good.
Yeah, Trossard is good.
What you were saying about him on Saturday, I didn't think the performance was bad at all. I thought the performance in the first half was actually good.
He done
Have you got the subs there?
Stumbled into it, didn't he?
Yeah, saying Jesus on the bench. Ramsdale, Hine, Partey, Jesus, Smith Rowe, Nketiah, Cedric, Tomiyasu, Fabio Vieira, Nelson, El Neni and Zinchenko. So, yeah, he's kept faith in a team that's been doing well.
Listen, Trossard's had one, as Julian quite rightly said, he didn't have a bad game. But at the end of the day, he's actually played well and been left out in the past. So, you know, it's
I must admit, I didn't think he had a very good game. So.
No, it's a vote of
But the thing
confidence.
is about Trossard is that he really has 2 bad games. You know what I mean? So he'll be back. Listen, If it's Trossard, I'm still cool with it. I would have went with Jesus, but I'm still cool with it. Listen, Trossard's still a top player. And he's a goal scorer as well. So
yeah, what Trossard's got probably more than Jesus and Nelson for me is that like Andre Arshavin ability to just slap it in the top corner.
He's a better finisher.
And I think that gives us just a little something there. that maybe
and also, there may be a little tactical thing on it that they might tire a little bit, and then bringing on a fresh Jesus may be a good thing. So
yeah, Zinchenko. So who else
I'm
did you say?
surprised they've made no changes though. I'm surprised he's done that. But
Maybe they trained
when
very
you think
well.
about it, this team hasn't lost, have they?
no.
They'll be losing. They'll be winning every week. So
I would imagine he's had a look at them in training and he's seen who's sharp and thought, right, yeah, you know what, on balance, I'll go with the same team.
I'm just trying to get. I know you just had the bench in front of you, but I just want to read through it one more time. Of course, Arsenal don't upload the 11 on time.
I've got it's Sky have done it as well. So like
So can I just read it again?
substitutes Hein, Ramsdale, because you can have two keepers. Tomiasu's on the bench.
Okay, that's
Zinchenko.
good. That's really good. Yeah.
Zinchenko, Cedric,
Yeah.
Thomas Partey, Mohamed El Neni,
Yeah.
Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Eddie Nketiah, Jesus, and Reece Nelson.
Do you have
That's a lot of
substitutes
players.
then on the bench in Europe then?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, you get about 11 or
Yeah,
12.
so there's a lot of firepower on the bench, much more than we've had in recent times. And as you said, it's an unchanged team. From
And
Saturday.
they've forgotten Man's back in the front.
Yeah, and is
Fabio
Taremi
Vieira.
playing for them? Is he back?
You see?
He's been reading his notes. And he
What?
Who?
Taremi.
Taremi, no, he's
he's
not,
the
he's
Iranian.
No, he's not.
centre-forward,
He's not
scored
playing.
against the first goal against
Do you want
England.
to read out there?
Both goals.
What did you give me it for?
Sorry.
Diego Costa, Wendell, João Mario, Pepe, Octavio Galeno, Francisco Conceição, the manager's son, Quino, Gonzalez, Varela, and Evan Nilsson.
Fair enough.
So I think that's more or less the same team that played us over there.
Very, very similar.
Mehdi Taremi is on the bench.
Okay.
So
Fair enough. There you go. Those are the two 11s. And I know we've got super chats coming in. We will read them out as well. We'll get some score predictions. Of course, there will be a watch along. Cecil will be here with a star-studded cast. So go have a little watch of that as well. If you can't be at the game, and of course there will be fan cams and more coming from after full-time show with Laurie. So make sure you download the AFTV Plus app and you can have your say, win, lose or draw. But my word, we need a win because we just can't.
nerves are starting to lift. Get a bit higher now, you know.
We cannot have another. I can believe this stat. Apparently, he's never won a game at the Emirates in a European knockout.
That's true.
Arteta.
Well, there ain't that many, has it?
Well, he's had many, is he? They're
Well,
two.
no, but Olympiacos, Villarreal,
Sporting.
Benfica. He won the home tie leg. The home leg he won, but it was. Remember in that COVID season we had to play at a different ground.
Yeah, but
When we played Benfica in the Europa League, we knocked them out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where did we
It's
play?
not-
Which different ground did we
But
play?
we went all the way to the.
Both Arsenal and Benfica didn't play their home ground. We played in like Rome and somewhere
yeah, I
else.
remember that.
Yeah, but we went all the way to the semi-finals that year. So we must
Slavia
have won.
Prague, we drew 1-1 at home and then won 4-1 away.
Okay.
Olympiacos, we won 3-1 away and lost 1-0 at home. So we still made it through. So he's never won at the Emirates in a European.
Well, he better start then. So, I mean,
No, that's an extraordinary stat, isn't it? It's his fourth full season.
But to be fair, this
but
season
we've won all these three knockouts.
this season at home, we've been blitzing teams at home in the Champions League.
Whereas if you look at their European pedigree, it's very good.
Do you know when we?
But they've been poor on the road.
Do you know
when they come to England, Porto. So
we went to Lons. Remember we went to Lons and they beat us 2-1, didn't they?
Yeah.
And we thought, what a side they were.
No,
Like,
we didn't.
Well, no, we was very impressed with them.
They did well on the day,
Yeah, they did well on the day, but
They'll argue like,
Cheatham
you know
doesn't
what I mean?
rate anyone.
He just
Rate
argued.
Arsenal.
But he did. He said, they were a good side and all that. Like, I don't think anybody else would have turned around and said, we've beaten 5-0 on the way.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Which we all thought we'd beat them.
it was a bit of a perfect storm over there, wasn't it? You know, everything went their
Well,
way.
no, the lightning didn't hit you. You know what I mean?
I mean, do you remember that miss from Tomiyasu? It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was.
Fair enough.
They got 2 wonder goals.
Yeah,
that
they
day,
did.
We do have more super chats. Bear with me one sec while I find them all. Nick says, don't read too much into the 5-0 Benfica in Sporting. I'm a Sporting fan here and watch a lot of Portuguese footy. Benfica have been dreadful recently, plus they were down to 10. Okay, fair enough.
61 minutes.
They drew
Right,
2-2
with
with Rangers, didn't they?
Yeah. And Rangers winning twice.
Dan says, the Gooners are demanding an apology from Turkish to Havertz. Yeah, he's been giving him his props. LWBFMN says, don't need to invert Zinchenko. White inverting his class. He has done really well, White at trying to recreate what Zinchenko does, to be fair.
And maybe that's why he's stuck with that, because White has been doing that brilliantly.
Best right back in the country
Right
now
now,
at this moment in time.
Mr. Chicken Soup says, great idea, Laurie, throw Zinchenko back into a must-win. I read that with a sarcastic tone because it sounds like a sarcastic.
I did also say that I'd have
that as well,
I did also say I'd have no problem if Kiwior started. I was just agreeing with Robbie that with his experience and that extra layer of creativity that he brings, it might be an idea to start him from the off.
And we all said that.
He came on Saturday.
It's an Arteta lies. I've got to say lies. He actually said if you're in the squad, you can play that whole game, didn't he? He said, like, you know what I mean, because you might come on after 5 minutes, but. Maybe these guys are not quite ready yet. I don't know.
We've got a super chat from Maggers, and it is from someone else. These aren't my words. Please, all 4 of you, don't get on to me. Congrats on having the best hairline here, James. Jesus says Porto didn't low block. They deployed him. We're laughing at.
Well,
I'm just.
At least you got hairline.
I'm just hosting. Jesus says Porto didn't low block. They deployed a mid block. Happy for us to have the ball at the back.
That's what you said.
Jumped on us when we tried to progress the ball.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And they'll probably, Brentford did it on Saturday, and I'm sure will do the same thing tonight. But they got deeper and deeper and deeper as the game went on, and right at the end. The only bit of quality in the game, and they won it. We've got to be careful.
They could have scored in the first half. I think the guy who scored the goal,
you're right, they did have a
he had a
chance,
really good opportunity that he put wide, which I don't know.
It's a bit of a scramble, that one, wasn't it?
Rizvan asking it's a big question, and we could be here for 20 minutes, but just very quickly, he asks, with a full squad bar Martinelli, what is the expectation for Mikel Arteta and the team for the end of the season? Will 0 trophies be a failure? All I'll say in a line is, it's all about context. If Arteta falls within a couple points of Klopp and Guardiola and City and Liverpool, in the Premier League alone, it's failure to win the title, but I'm not thinking, right, sack him and move on, because he's just gone toe-to-toe with these guys. So it's all about context.
You know what Martin Keown said to us on Friday? He goes, he's the next guy. And I truly believe that. He goes, he's the next guy. He goes, it's those two, Klopp and Guardiola, but the next guy coming through now is Arteta.
2 years ago, the fans were singing a song about getting in the top 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now nobody talks about top 4.
Nobody talks about top 4 now. It's about going for the
Arsenal
league.
on the way to Champions League.
Yeah. We do still sing that.
At the end of
the song still gets sung.
Yeah, but but the point I'm trying to make is that we've gone above that now, where we're looking to win titles and all that. And listen, I keep saying this: some people have been spoilt at the Arsenal. They've been brought up, born in the Wenger era of winning titles and all that. You've got no God-given right to win leagues. When I started supporting Arsenal, we was never ever looking like winning the league. You know what I mean? Like 6th, 7th, 8th. We've got a chance of winning the league. It's a fantastic thing. And you're up against Liverpool, and who have always been serial winners going through the years. And now this Man City, and it comes to the fact where you look at the Invincibles, they would not win the league at this moment in time because we were drawing too many games. You can't afford to draw games against this lot. That's how hard it is. So when people turn around and say, "Oh, you got to win a trophy and all that," do me a favour. It's hard to win this trophy, any trophy at the moment, I
think the narrative will be for non-Arsenal fans is that you slipped up twice in a row, you bottled it, all that. But we all know that. To win the title this year is going to be a hell of a feat, because we're up against Liverpool. Man City, to me, are arguably one of the best teams ever in the Premier League history.
And Laurie, can I just say this? I've not heard it once in the last 3 days or 4 days since Liverpool game that anybody's turning around and saying, "Oh, Liverpool have blown a 5-point lead. You've bottled a 5-point lead like we did last year." You know what I mean? Not one person has come out and said, "Oh, they've bottled a 5-point lead," because that's what's happened in the last 3 or 4 weeks. They've dropped 5 points over us and Manchester City. So
Yeah, fair enough.
You have to take it in context.
Final super chat comes from Christian Ty. Says time. Good to see you, Christian. You'll have seen him on the watch along. Says time for these boys to turn into men and reach the quarter final. Come on, you Gunners! Just a reminder of the 11. You got it there on the screen. Raya is back in goal after Ramsdale came in his place because obviously couldn't play against Brentford. But it's the same 11 otherwise with White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Kivior in the back four. Rice, Jorginho, and Erdegaard. Rice expected to play that free roam box-to-box role with Jorginho coming in and Saka, Trossard, and Havertz in the front three. On the bench, Ramsdale, Hine, 2 goalkeepers. Of course, you can have more subs in the Champions League. Tomiyasu makes his first return to the squad. I think it's the first time he's been in an Arsenal squad since the Fulham game, just New Year's Eve, I think.
Just in time for the internationals.
Yeah. Cedric, Zinchenko, El Neni, Partey, Vieira, Smith Rowe, Nelson, Nketiah and Jesus. So a lot of options there for Arsenal. We'll be live with the watch along at about 7:45 UK time. So do subscribe to AFTV so you get notifications when we are live. Cecil will be here with Laurie and a fantastic lineup for you as well, reacting to every kick of a ball in the Champions League. It's our opportunity to make it to the quarterfinals for the first time since 2010.
Predictions?
Predictions?
I hate hosting. I've said 1-0 will go through on pens.
I say 3-0.
3-1.
2-0.
2-0.
Thank you for watching, everyone.